The story begins in a small, isolated town where we see a lone house surrounded by quiet stillness. Living in this secluded home is a young woman named Bryn. She is all alone as her mother has passed away. To make ends meet, Bryn works as a seamstress, creating beautiful pieces she sells in town. One day, as Bryn steps outside her home, she notices a strange circle etched into her lawn. Curious but cautious, she decides to pour water over it in an attempt to erase it. With this unsettling sight lingering in her mind, she brushes it off, gets into her car, and drives to town. On her way, she spots a boy she really likes, but he doesn't feel the same way about her. Feeling a bit disheartened, Bryn continues her journey and reaches the town, where she remains completely isolated. The townspeople don't like her, and she's acutely aware of their cold attitude. While wandering, she notices a couple and quickly hides behind her car. It turns out they are the parents of her former friend, Mud. Once they leave, Bryn heads back home. At her house, she receives a parcel delivery. Bryn has been building a miniature replica of her town in her living room, carefully crafting every tiny detail. The parcel contains a small school model, another piece to add to her intricate creation. After this, Bryn writes a letter addressed to Mud saying, "10 years have passed, and it feels like it was just yesterday. I can never forgive myself." This implies that something happened in the past that made the townspeople dislike her, and she carries guilt in her heart over it. After finishing the letter, Bryn falls asleep. Suddenly, we see something descending from above, entering her house. The lights in her home start flickering on and off by themselves. Bryn remains asleep through the initial disturbances, but a noise eventually wakes her up. The house is now cloaked in darkness as the power has gone out. As Bryn carefully makes her way down the stairs, she notices that the main door is wide open. A wave of dread washes over her. Someone has entered the house. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps echoes from the kitchen. Alarmed, Bryn looks toward the kitchen and freezes in terror at what she sees. Panicked, she rushes back to her bedroom and hides under the bed. Moments later, the intruder enters her room. From under the bed, Bryn can see its feet. It's not a human but an alien. Its figure eerily humanoid yet unsettlingly different. The alien eventually exits through the window, seemingly uninterested in causing harm. It appears to have entered the house out of curiosity, perhaps to explore and experience human objects. Once it leaves, Bryn cautiously comes out from under the bed and heads downstairs. She quickly shuts the main door, hoping to feel secure again. Shortly after, the power returns, and her TV suddenly turns on by itself, blaring with an unbearably loud noise. Frantically, Bryn rushes to turn it off. Desperate for help, she picks up the phone to call someone, but it too emits an ear-piercing noise. Panic sets in as, in the next moment, the alien re-enters her home, sending her fear spiraling once more. Bryn tries her best to hide, but this time, the alien spots her. Panicked, she attempts to escape, but in her frantic rush, the front door gets knocked off its hinges, and she hits her head in the chaos. Dazed and injured, she watches in horror as the alien begins to destroy the miniature town she painstakingly built in her living room. This infuriates Bryn, but her fear heightens as the alien uses its telekinetic powers to pull her toward it, attempting to control her. Just when it seems all hope is lost, Bryn grabs a wooden shard lying nearby and strikes the alien on the head with all her strength. The alien collapses instantly and dies. Despite its telekinetic abilities, it turns out the alien was physically weak, unable to withstand even a single well-aimed blow. Bryn, still shaken, realizes she just survived an otherworldly encounter, but at a significant emotional and physical cost. The next morning, Bryn tries to call for help, but her phone is dead. Realizing she's on her own, she cautiously steps outside. Not far from her home, she spots an overturned vehicle, the same one that had delivered her parcel the previous day. The sight confirms that something far more sinister is happening. Nearby, she notices another house, but it's completely wrecked, as if it had been under attack. This reveals to Bryn that her home wasn't the only target. The aliens have invaded other houses too. In the lawn of that house, she notices a circle in the grass, identical to the one she found at her home. As the camera pans out, it becomes clear that these mysterious circles aren't isolated. They are scattered across the area, hinting at a widespread alien presence. After this, Bryn heads to the police station, where she sees Mud's parents. She tries to talk to them, but Mud's mother spits on her face and leaves, making Bryn feel terrible. Upset, she walks out of the station and decides to leave town to save her life. She gets on a bus, but a couple on the bus attacks her. She notices something strange, something unusual crawling around their necks. She barely escapes from the bus and reaches a graveyard. There, she finds a grave with Mud written on it, revealing that her friend Mud had died 10 years ago. Just then, she hears the sound of aliens nearby, the same eerie sounds that had filled her home the previous night. She looks out and sees a crowd of people standing in the park with their hands raised. It's clear that the aliens have used their telekinetic powers to control their minds. Horrified by the sight, Bryn rushes back to her house. Inside, she notices the alien's body from earlier. Something appears to have emerged from its mouth and crawled away. She cautiously investigates, but finds no trace of it. Growing more anxious, Bryn decides to fortify her home. She closes all the windows and uses a bed sheet to cover the broken door. For protection, she keeps a blade close by as she prepares herself for whatever might come next. The aliens have now surrounded Bryn's house. Their ships fire laser beams into the home, using them to retrieve the body of the alien Bryn killed the day before. Realizing the danger, Bryn flees to the basement to hide. However, one of the aliens manages to find her there. As it approaches to attack, Bryn grabs a pair of scissors to defend herself, but the alien uses its telekinetic powers to pull the scissors away from her. It also notices a photo of Bryn and her friend Mud nearby. The alien uses its powers to grab the photo and begins examining it closely. Distracted, it unintentionally gives Bryn an opportunity to escape, and she seizes the moment to flee. Bryn runs upstairs and encounters a smaller, more aggressive alien. It charges at her, but she defends herself by throwing scalding hot water at it. Using the distraction, she quickly escapes to the bathroom. However, the alien is unharmed and follows her, clawing at the bathroom door with its sharp talons. Desperate, Bryn tries to climb out through the window, but the alien bursts into the bathroom and grabs her leg. Determined to fight back, she confronts it head-on. She uses a mop to strike the alien, but the mop breaks. Left with the broken wooden handle, she thrusts it through the alien's shoulder, severely injuring it. Not stopping there, Bryn grabs the cabinet door and delivers a powerful blow to the alien's head, killing it instantly. Exhausted but relieved, she realizes she has successfully defended herself against the relentless attacker. Bryn steps outside and comes face to face with another alien, much larger than the previous ones. Suddenly, the courier who delivered her parcel earlier appears, but it's clear that his mind is under the control of the aliens. He grabs Bryn by her hair and drags her forcefully toward the massive alien. The large alien signals its companions, and a spaceship descends from the sky, hovering directly over Bryn. Realizing their intentions, Bryn understands that the aliens want to abduct her as punishment for killing their kind. As a laser beam from the spaceship starts pulling the courier upward, Bryn pushes him into the beam. The ship begins to lift him, but drops him moments later. Bryn quickly deduces that the aliens are after her specifically. The massive alien near her starts chasing her aggressively. She manages to reach her car, and with quick thinking, she lures the alien inside the vehicle. Once it's trapped, she sets the car ablaze and jumps out just in time. The car explodes, killing the alien in the fiery blast. However, Bryn's relief is short-lived as the spaceship above continues to pursue her, relentlessly tracking her movements. A laser beam continues to shine down as Bryn rushes back into her house, heading straight for the basement. There, she finds the alien still holding her and Mud's photo. Quietly, she tries to sneak up on it, but the alien senses her and uses its power to shove her forcefully. She's sent flying across the room and lands hard. Suddenly, red light floods the house, freezing Bryn in place. An alien approaches, and from its mouth, it releases a strange creature, forcing it into Bryn's mouth. This creature gives the alien control over her, just like it did with all the others it had taken over. As Bryn lies there, dazed, she believes it was all just a bad dream. But then, her friend Mud appears before her, and Bryn feels a sense of longing. It dawns on her, this isn't a dream, but a harsh reality created by the alien in her mind. Mud had passed away long ago. Realizing the truth, Bryn reaches into her throat and pulls the strange creature out, breaking free from the illusion. She throws the creature to the ground, taking back control of her mind. Under the beam of light, Bryn watches in shock as a new body begins to form. It's her own duplicate. This creation, birthed from the alien creature, suddenly attacks her. Injured but determined, Bryn fights back, using the blade in her hand to kill the imposter. Moments later, a sky blue beam descends on her, pulling her into the spaceship above. Inside the craft, Bryn finds herself surrounded by numerous aliens. One of them approaches her and places a finger on her forehead. Instantly, Bryn's memories begin to play like a vivid reel. The alien sees her with her mother, lovingly building the miniature town, a hobby her mom cherished, and which Bryn had continued to honor after her passing. The alien's exploration of her memories doesn't stop there. It reveals a dark, buried secret from Bryn's past. Years ago, during an argument with her childhood friend Mud, things escalated. Mud had shoved Bryn, and in a fit of rage, she struck him with a rock, Tragically, Mud lost his life. Ever since, Bryn had been burdened with guilt, which explained why the townspeople and Mud's parents resented her deeply. In these memories, young Bryn is seen writing a letter to Mud, apologizing for what happened. She struggles to express her feelings openly because no one in the town talks to her. She has been isolated since childhood. As the memory unfolds, the older Bryn appears, reaching out and holding the hand of her younger self. This symbolizes that she has finally come to terms with her past. The older Bryn's gesture seems to say, "It was an accident. It's time to move forward." We then see the aliens communicating silently through gestures, as if deliberating about Bryn. Moments later, they release her and send her back to Earth. Bryn is no longer under their control, nor does she carry any alien creature within her. The next day, Bryn is shown feeling happy and content with her life. She has finally let go of her guilt and embraced her freedom. The townspeople, who once despised her, now talk to her kindly. However, Bryn knows the unsettling truth. These people are either under the aliens' control or the aliens themselves, who have likely killed the real humans and taken their form to live on Earth. Later, Bryn attends a party where she dances with the boy she has always liked. Above them, countless UFOs hover in the sky, silently observing everything. What do you think? Are the humans on Earth real, or have the aliens taken over their bodies and minds, controlling them from within? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed this thrilling story.